Here we are. Okay. So we are starting 1.7. That is our last section of this unit, which is just application problems. Everyone's favorite. So with word problems, obviously, read the entire problem, identify the question, find the important information, define your variables, write and solve an equation, and answer using words. So there's a lot of different ways that you guys can do these types of problems. So in the past, I have solved these problems using two variables. Today, we're going to talk about how you can do it with one variable and kind of with a table. So we'll talk kind of about both ways and whatever makes the most sense to you, but I'm going to show you with one variable today. So it says, so first thing, we're just going to read the entire problem and see what's going on. So Betsy, a recent retiree, requires $7,000 per year in extra income. Okay. Hopefully the recording is still recording, but who knows what's happening to it. She has $50,000 to invest and can invest in B-rated bonds paying 15% per year or in a certificate of deposit paying 7% per year. How much money should be invested in each to realize exactly $7,000 per interest per year? So, okay. Bonds and CDs are just different things that you can invest your money in. It's not like anything crazy. So what it is she has a total of $50,000 to invest. So what we're going to do is we're going to kind of make a little bit of a table. So we're going to say first is bonds. Okay. And then we're going to put CDs. And then we're going to put total. Now, there are two things that we have here. So in finance, you have something that's called your principal amount. Your principal amount is your starting amount, like how much money you're actually putting into the account. So first, in the total amount, Betsy is putting in $50,000 total. Now, if I say the bonds is X, how can I write the amount that she has in CDs using X? Do you want to close the door? So how can I find the CDs? You know, what are they they're going to add up to be 50,000. So if I were to figure out what this is, it's just going to be X minus 50,000, right? Or 50,000 minus X, sorry. Because if they're going to add up to be 50,000, let's say this is 10,000, then this one's going to be 40,000, right? 50,000 minus 10. Okay, now let's talk about the rates for each of these. So the bonds, how much was in the bonds? 15%. I'm going to write that as a decimal. CDs is 7%, so I'm going to write that as a decimal too. And the total is not something that we're too concerned about. That doesn't have a rate. Okay, so far, do we have any questions? Anything that is unclear on what I'm doing? Do you need a new one? Okay. Okay, so then let's talk about interest. So interest in normal life, in real life, like how you calculate interest is always the principal times the rate. So the interest here would be the principal amount times the rate, 0.15 times x. The interest rate here, again, would be the principal amount times the rate. Now, because it's two things, I'm going to do 0.07 times 50,000 minus x. And how much total interest does she want? Okay. Any questions on anything I've put into my table? I know it's not really a table, but it's a table. Yeah.
What's like the line below the 0.7?
There's just not a rate for the total. Like it's like an X'd out box. Yeah.
Wait, why don't you change the x in the 50,000 minus x to 0.5x? Or 0.15x?
Say that again?
In the 50,000 minus x next to the like 0.07,
Uh-huh.
wouldn't you change that to 0.15? Or like why don't you?
We're going to distribute in a minute. You mean
Oh, okay.
distribute?
No, why don't you change the x that the 50,000 is minusing to 0.15x? Or like is that like a separate thing?
Oh, no, you're multiplying the rate times the principal for the CDs. And so right now we're putting CDs as 50,000 minus x.
Oh.
It's not the 0.5x, 0.15x. Okay, so what we need to do now is create an equation to help us. So the interest that we get from the bonds plus the interest that we get from the CDs should be equal to 70,000. So what we're going to do is use this to help me solve for x. So what I'm going to do is create an equation from there. I'm going to go 0.15x plus 0.07 times 50,000 minus x equals 7,000. Okay. From there, I want you guys to try on your own to solve for x. Okay. Did you guys get x equals 43,750? Do you guys have any questions on that? Okay, so what that means, so x, right, we circle back, is that the amount in bonds or CDs? X is bonds. So that means we have, or Betsy is going to put $43,750 in the bonds. Now, how am I going to find the CD amount? Just subtract. So my CD amount is going to be 50,000 minus 43,750. And I get 6,250. Okay. Do you guys see that? Do you guys have questions on that? Do you guys understand how I set up the table? Yeah.
I have a question. Why did you make how did you know to make the bonds X and the CDs to make it like 50,000 minus?
I could have done CDs X and then bonds 50,000 minus X. It doesn't matter as long as you know which one is which. So before, what I have done is done X and then Y, and then X and Y, and had two variables and solved it using substitution or elimination. And so you guys can kind of do whatever you want, and we can talk about how you can do that. It's just I wanted to try it with just one variable where you see it with one variable. Okay, questions on 1. Okay, let's talk about 2. So 2, these are really the only 2 types of problems you guys are going to see. It's either going to be like investment or mixing of items, which is what 2 is going to be. So a coffee manufacturer wants to market a new blend of coffee that sells for $3.90 per pound, mixing 2 coffees that sell for $2.75 and $5 per pound respectively. What amounts of each coffee should be blended to obtain the desired mixtures? Assume the total weight of the desired blend is 100 pounds. So I am just, like I did up here, I did bonds, CDs, total. I'm just going to label them as blend 1 because they don't really have any names. Blend 2 and total. So we have a lot of different things going on, right? We have pounds. That's what it's asking us. It's asking us what's the total weight of each thing that we want to put in here. So that's going to be my first column, is just going to be pounds. How many total pounds of the desired blend do we want to put together? 100. So blend 1, if I put blend 1 as X, what am I going to put blend 2? 100 minus X. Okay. Questions? Okay, so the next thing that's important to us is the dollar amount per pound. So the dollar amount per pound for blend 1, it says mixing 2 coffees, one that sells for $2.75. One that sells for $5. And then what they want to sell the new and total blend, so this is the new blend. They want to sell it for $3.90 per pound. Okay, questions on anything I did for that column? Okay, so let's talk about the total money that they're going to make. Now with this one, the total money that we make is going to be, if this is the dollar amount per pound, how am I going to find the total dollar amount if I have the dollar per pound and the amount of pounds? Just multiply them, right? 275 times X. So you're going to do pounds times the dollar amount to equal total dollar amount. So with this one, it's just going to be X times 275 or 275X. With this one, we're going to multiply 100 minus X times 5, just like we did, but I'm going to put the 5 on the outside because it has to distribute. Now, the only thing that's different with this one is it doesn't give us the total amount of money. It gave us the total amount of pounds. But I can use what I have given my information to figure out the total amount of money that they're going to make by multiplying 100 by 390. To get me $390. Okay. Anything on the table that is needing clarification? Okay, so again, I am going to use this information to help me to solve for my variables. Because we're going to do the amount of blend 1 plus the amount of blend 2 to get my total amount. So I'm going to do 275x plus 5 times 100 minus x equals 390. You can put 3.9 times 100. You're going to multiply it out eventually. Questions on that? Now it's as easy as the one up above. So go ahead, finish that problem, multiply it out. And I think it's a decimal answer, so round to the nearest 2 decimals. Okay. Did you guys get 48.89? Okay. So 48.89. That is is that for the $2.75 coffee or for the $5 coffee? Yeah, because $2.75 was my X, so we're going to put 48.89, and this is talking about pounds for the $2.75 coffee. So then how many pounds are we going to put in for the $5 coffee?
Double that.
Not double that. It was so close.
100 minus 48.89. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
100 minus 48.89 gets me 51.11 pounds. Okay. How do you always feel with those? Yeah.
I multiply it back out and it doesn't equal 399.
What?
Oh, I multiplied them back out and it doesn't equal 390.
Does it equal something that's close to 390? It's because we had to round the decimals. Yeah. So, because we had to get round at 0.89 and 11, that's why. If you had put like the whole thing in, then it would have. Okay. Anything before we finish? Okay. That's it for 1.7.